In my last video, I shared that I was designing a half-scale pinball machine, and I demoed the custom slingshot assembly I built for it. And after spending way too much time in CAD, I finally come up with a design I'm ready to share for the ball trough and Auto-Plunger. If you're not familiar, the ball trough is where a machine stores its reserve pinballs when they're not in play. The ball troughs in most full-size machines are designed for sheet metal construction, but I don't really have the tools to work with sheet metal, so I've designed mine for 3D printing instead. Splitting the ball trough in half not only made it more printable, but it also allowed me to insert these captive bolts, which I used to mount it to the playfield. The solenoid I'm attaching is used to eject balls back into the shooter lane to reload the Auto-Plunger. The holes along the sides are for pairs of infrared LEDs and photodiodes, which serve as optical sensors to track how many balls are in the trough, or if the ejector chute has become jammed, for example because a ball fails to eject properly. Next to the ball trough is the Auto-Plunger, which allows the game to automatically launch balls during multi-ball or when the player presses the launch button. Now, this may be a bit controversial, but I don't really care for manual plungers, so I'm just not going to put one in this machine. Although I did at least design the actuator of the Auto-Plunger with enough room to fit a manual plunger in later if I change my mind. Aside from that, the Auto-Plunger mech is almost identical to the slingshot mech I showed last video, except it only has one inductive probe, and I've moved it to the side to detect when the ball is perfectly aligned in the actuator. It's actually really important that the ball come to a complete stop and be perfectly centered before the Auto-Plunger fires, otherwise the shots will be inconsistent. I eventually want to order a laser cut playfield to test with, but I don't really want to do that until I'm sure the mechs are working properly together. So I built a quick test rig out of some Sintra and shelving brackets and wired everything up to an Arduino Uno and relay shield with some test code. It's taken a long time to get to this point, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. At 24 volts, the Auto-Plunger has more than enough force to launch the balls, the trough never jammed, and the ejector never failed to eject properly. Actually, the only problem now is this is making me completely rethink the mechs I've already designed. You see, I already had a working flipper assembly before I started these videos, but now looking back at it, it's just kind of clunky. So I want to try and reduce that down. That'll probably be the focus of my next video. Well, that's all I'm ready to show for now, but if you're interested in the project and want to see more of the technical details, you can check out my blog linked in the description down below. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.